Welcome back to another video, guys. Snack God here, and if you guys clicked on this video, you guys may be an OG of this channel because of the title of this video. Now, I wanted to make this video because I don't often do many storytelling videos, and I don't have the chance to talk to you guys about my personal life very much when I make those candy selling videos, shoe selling videos, and week in the life of reseller. I figured that I would just take this week to tell you guys a little bit about myself, and you guys will learn a little bit about my past from when I started selling candy and why I started it. So that's basically the whole idea of this video. Hope you guys sit back, relax, and you guys listen to my story. You guys can let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And this story is try to inspire people to, get out of their comfort zone and do what they want to do, because that's what I did, and that's kind of the lesson I want to show you guys. And we'll do a little wrap up at the end, but without further ado, let's get into the story. Okay, so this is kind of how the story starts, alright? So throughout all my life, from elementary school to middle school and growing up, I knew that my family didn't come from money. Both of my parents were immigrants here in the United States, and they moved here when they were young, and they worked really hard, alright? They earned for their privilege, and they put themselves out into, situations that they won't want to be in to try to make money and try to, provide a life for them here, because America had more opportunities back then, right? So they moved here, provide opportunities, work hard, and so did I came with my grandparents too. At the time they were younger, and they were working, making very low minimum wage, was like $1.50. And, they worked really hard to get me a house here. Obviously, I was born into this house, but it was not like I was instantly born and they came here and they instantly had the house. A lot of hard work was put into it, but even though they had this house for us and they were making like enough money to put food on the table, they never had like excessive amounts of money. We were like at the middle, we were kind of at the bottom of the middle class. And over time, we made better investments. My parents, learned how to do real estate and houses, and it's provided more income for them, so they're more financially stable now. And I could gladly say that we're probably like right in the middle class area. So it took many years, and my parents are in their 40s right now, so they're about to be 52. And many years, and they're working here, working hard. So when I was young, I tried to, provide for myself when they couldn't get stuff for me, because I would remember going out and trying to buy things, but I really never had any money to spend. I would probably get like $20 in a whole month, and that may be a lot to some people back then, that may be not, but I know a lot of people around me were getting like $20 a week, or getting like $50 a week, and I was a kid that never really had much to spend, and I didn't want to bother my parents too much about buying things for me. Like whenever I want to go out, I saw a little toy, I wanted a snack, I would ask them for it, but after a while asking for them, I realized I felt bad, because they would always tell me that it's better to eat what we have at home, it's better not to spend money. And I realized that now that I'm older, that's what they had to do back then in order to, get to where they are now. If they were spending, like they had a lot of money and they were spending on stuff that they didn't need just to have temporary happiness, they wouldn't be able to get financially stable and build wealth. So something like this back then would have taken me like a whole month to get, maybe even 2 months, because I was only getting $20 a month, right, from like helping my parents around, which was still pretty good, right? I'm not complaining about that. And something like this, well, it was never even imaginable having something that's like $300, and especially on a shoe too. I would never thought I'd be able to touch or own a $300 shoe until I was like 20 years old, right? Until I was making a lot of money. But that changed because I started getting motivation for that, and that was why I started selling candy, guys. So that was kind of like the start to get me to sell candy. And it wasn't just like, oh, I wanted money, let's go sell candy. How did I actually get the idea of selling candy? Well, I always wanted to find ways to make money, but the easiest way that came to me was never going to be easy, right? There was never a get rich quick scheme that you could always do. There was always ways that I had to make money, but it would always be a slow start, and you were never guaranteed to go anywhere unless you put your work out there and take the risk. So candy selling came when I was kind of going through YouTube videos on how I could make money as a kid. Yes, I was one of those people who went on YouTube to look how to make money as a kid, because that was my only source of knowledge. That my parents were really busy doing their own thing, focused on the work, taking care of us, paying the bills. They didn't have time to teach me how to make money, because they weren't that type either. They grew up around the idea that you had to follow a traditional path, work, and get a job. So now I wanted to make money, but I didn't have those requirements. I wasn't graduated. I didn't have high school diploma. I was a 7th or 8th grader in middle school. I didn't really have the requirements to get a job, nor was I old enough. So candy selling kind of came perfect, because I could do it while I was at school, and it was a good idea to replicate how it was like running my own business. All right, now this is the first part of the story, and let's move on to the second part. And this is kind of where it got a little more fun, but it was also a lot of the struggle that I felt my parents feel before. Now, in my head, being the middle schooler that I was, obviously I was a really happy, optimistic person, as I have not experienced too much in life yet, and I was just always the type to be really hopeful and looking towards the greater good of everything, glass half full kind of guy. So I thought candy selling wouldn't be too hard. I thought it would be easy money, as people call it, right? Go to school, I offer people my snacks for sale, get some sales, that's it, call it a day. But it was not that easy, guys. Starting a business from scratch is really hard to establish yourself out there and build up a brand or an image for yourself. Hold on, let me change the lighting real quick. And it was not that easy, right? But it was the drive of wanting to have my own money and buy the things I wanted that motivated me to keep working on it. I started out with a $6 investment. I bought a loaf of baguette, a sourdough bread from Trader Joe's. If you guys know what that is, it's kind of like a grocery store and they have really good prices there. But I bought a whole baguette of sourdough bread for, I believe, $2, so $1.99, and I flipped it for $3 the next day at school. Now, where did I get that idea from bread, you may ask? That's a long story and maybe for a different day, but it was basically coming from one of my friends, but I'm not going to go too specific about it. It was just one of his projects, and yeah, that's probably where it was from. Anyways, I bought the bread, I flipped it, I made $1, and I was actually really happy, not because I made $1, but because I figured that if I could keep repeating this process and scale myself up and keep doing the same thing except with things that are easier to flip, I could potentially build a business myself and provide myself with the things that I want without having to bother my parents and without having to get a job really early instead of focusing on school. So that was kind of my main priority back then in 8th grade. I was like, all right, let's start focusing on the bigger picture now. So I have a little bit of money. I was flipping bread for about like a whole month and a half. Like, by the way, guys, I was flipping bread, lollipops. I bought a big bag of lollipops for $10 and they had like 200 in them. I put like 15 in a bag or something and I sold that for like $1 a bag. I'm making very, very low profit margins each bag. But the thing is, the lollipops would sell really fast. But anyways, I'm not going to draw too much up aside from the fact that I was selling lollipops and stuff. This video is about why I started it and how I got it to keep going. So after I started flipping things, I noticed that even though I was doing pretty well, I needed something to get myself what's called up to pace. So I needed employees, and that's what I came to the realization that partnering up with people could help you get off the ground a lot easier. Hence why there's limited liability corporations, businesses, and people who partner up, because the costs are a lot less and the liability is less too when they're split between two people, right? So I had to figure out if I wanted to keep making more money, I needed to hire someone to help me sell candy, and that would increase my sales per day, therefore leading to more profits. Now, over time, how did candy selling help me as a person, and how did I incorporate what I learned from candy selling into the real world? All right, so the first thing that candy selling helped me realize was that nothing comes easy in this world. There's a lot of things you gotta work hard for, and it's not just working hard, it's also working smart too. You could be spending a lot of time in something and feel like you're getting underpaid for it, you're not being valued enough, and people aren't, giving you the respect you deserve. That's also a part of being working smart too. Like, that's why some people don't like working a job for the rest of their life. People prefer to stay away from 9 to 5, because no matter how hard you work, you're still gonna make the same wage every hour, and you can only get so many promotions that you're gonna have to eventually do something else to make more money, because you can't be always trading time for money. Some people feel like they're getting undervalued the work they put in, they're not getting paid enough for the work they're putting out. So that's one of the things it taught me. Nothing comes easy, all right? Number 2 is that the greater risk you take, the greater reward. But however, you want to also make sure you limit your risk. And here's what I kind of mean by that. Do research in the thing you want to become. Study the market if you're trying to sell something. Study how to become a better presenter or a leader or a public speaker if your job is to do those things, right? Make sure you limit your risk by increasing your knowledge and experience in a certain field so that you have a higher chance of succeeding than you have a chance at failing. And now, that's how you kind of control your risk. So let's say I want to sell candy. Know what kind of candy sells the most. Know what kind of candy can buy for bulk and it'll cost the least per unit. That kind of stuff is still taking a risk. You're still going out and trying to sell candy that you don't know will for sure sell very fast, or even people will buy it at your school, but you're limiting your risk because at least you pick the best out of the best, meaning you have a higher chance of it selling than you would if you didn't do any research. Now, there may be some people who don't believe me, and to be honest, I do not really care what you believe, what I say, because at the end of the day, we are living different lives and have different priorities, so it does not affect me however you think. But I'm telling you, use this as inspiration. I know it's hard to get out of the comfort zone. Trust me, I've been there, and it's probably one of the hardest things you can do when it comes to, growing as a person and character development, is getting out of comfort zones, which is why we find things like sitting at home, watching TV, playing video games, and chatting to people so easy, but find it so hard to go out and do chores and work out and get, try to get money, make money. So here's one of my advice for you guys. Let me tell you guys this, all right? It's easy to get a job work for 6 to 8 hours a day while you have a boss or supervisor telling you what to do every single hour, every single minute, and you sit there and repeat the same task over and over again. But it's much, much harder for an entrepreneur or someone who works by themselves to basically motivate themselves to get through things and get things done without knowing how much they're going to make or what results can come out of it. And the only thing that can determine their success is their own determination and their own hard work ethic, right? Imagine sitting at home, working at home on a computer, trying to figure out the next way to make money. No one's telling you what to do. The only way that can determine how much you make is your self-value and determination, right? It's a lot easier when you have someone telling you what to do 24/7. Like, kind of going to school is a lot easier to do that. You have a teacher telling you what to do. You have your parents maybe telling you to do your homework. What happens when you have no one telling you what to do? And that's the really important part Candy Stelling taught me. That even when no one is there telling you what to do, you have to force yourself to work, or else you're not going to get anywhere. And that's a lot harder than going out and getting a job and have every step of the day, have everybody tell you what to do, and just listening to people, because then you're just a follower now. You're part of the rat race. You're listening to everybody, what they tell you. Now, I'm not saying that's like the worst option. You know, some people find that life suitable. And just for me, I'm letting you guys know there's a difference between taking initiative on your own and taking a risk. It takes a lot more balls than to go apply for a job that's safe, but you never know what you're going to get, and you may never be satisfied in your life because all you do is do the same thing and earning the same amount. So this is kind of the main idea of this video, is to tell you guys, get out of your comfort zone if you guys want to chase after what you want. 2020 and 2021 are probably not going to be easy years for a lot of us, and it's shown that 2020 has been a very difficult year, but a lot of people were also able to succeed. A lot of people also became millionaires that year, and a lot of people were able to chase after the dreams despite the barriers. So try to get past those barriers if you guys can, and hopefully you guys find this video motivational, and I'll see you guys next time. Please leave a like down below and comment your thoughts on what this video made you feel. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.